Hey y'all, it's Coach Genny, your holistic nutritionist, and I am sharing 5 of my greatest tips to successfully transition to a plant-based diet and effectively manage lupus. Let me share my personal story and how I was able to start from the bottom and come up to the top by living a plant-based lifestyle. We're going to call it a lifestyle and not a diet. So if you are someone that has lupus or an autoimmune disease or a chronic condition like type 2 diabetes, or you know someone in your family that is faced with chronic symptoms, right, that just does not feel good in and on outside their body, this video is for you. And I say all of this to say that I myself was diagnosed with lupus in 2017. And first of all, I was living my life in denial. I did not accept that I had this disease. I thought I was immune to being sick, right? Until 2018, I come back from a business trip on my former life as an accountant. And I was so sick, y'all. I was hospitalized and I was 30 pounds sicker. I was malnourished. I had chronic fatigue, all of the symptoms you could think of. Like, I was beat up. I had so much fluid around my lungs, inflammation in my kidneys, and I had stage 4 kidney nephritis at that point. The doctors told me that I would potentially need dialysis. And I was just given tons of prescription medicines, right? And then when I asked that question, what do I eat? The doctor responded, eat whatever you want. Just take your medicine. And that for me was a trigger to say to myself, you have to take control of what you can control. And that starts with what you put in your body, on your body, and how you live your lifestyle. So since adopting a plant-based lifestyle and making the transition, I have regained a healthy weight. I have more energy, right? I've reduced chronic fatigue. I've reduced my overall inflammatory symptoms of having lupus. And I just am living in my purpose, y'all. This is why I'm here today, to share my story. And this led me to become a certified holistic nutritionist and help other women and families and communities that look like me and that can relate to me make the transition to transform their health. So this is why I created the EAT School around educate, adopt, and transform. Those are our principles, and it's all about taking control of what you can control, right? So that's what brings you here today. And I want to share with you my 5 greatest tips on how to effectively make the transition, right? To reduce inflammation, to reduce oxidative stress, to reduce the fat on your body, to eliminate the fat, right? Get that fat out of those arteries, out of our cells, and improve our overall gut health so that when we eat our anti-inflammatory foods, our body can absorb those nutrients and give us the vitality that we need to thrive. All right, let's talk about first, what is a plant-based diet and a lifestyle? A plant-based diet focuses on eating whole foods, eating foods that come from Mother Nature, that are limited, minimally processed, right? If processed at all. You eat it in its whole form and you get the benefits of the whole nutrients, okay? And what it focuses on is removing foods that no longer serve you, that are inflammatory. So let's get right into the 5 tips. But before we do that, I must make one mention that there was actually a recent research that was done in January of 2022, and it was published in the National Institute of Health. It was a UK self-study based around dietary patterns. About 80 people with SLE lupus adopted a plant-based lifestyle and reported extraordinary results on how they've improved their symptoms, how they've reduced chronic inflammation. So the research is there, y'all. It's the how-to. How do we do it? The very first tip, right? What you must do to start your plant-based journey is to, number 1, affirm your why. When I say affirm your why, is Really dig in, do some introspective reflection, right? Whether that means going to walk outside, have a conversation with your partners, write and journal down. What is your goal to be your highest self, right? Why are you embarking on this plant-based diet, this plant-based lifestyle in the very first place? And you must be super clear on that, right? Is that you want to live your greatest life by feeling good inside your body, outside of your body, reduce inflammation as we talked about, get rid of hormonal imbalances, right? Eliminate excess body fat, right? And just thrive, right? If you are very clear on that message and make it special and specific to your individual journey, that is the very most important step that you must do to be successful on this plant-based journey. So affirm your why. What we don't want to do is focus on vanity or short-term metrics to, for example, lose 10 pounds by next month for your birthday. All right, I've done heard that too many times. Or you tried to go vegan or plant-based for 2 weeks and 2 months and it didn't work, right? You didn't give yourself enough time, okay? This is not a short-term goal. This is for the long haul, right? This is for, again, living a life of abundance. So affirm your why. Be super clear on that. The second tip to successfully transition to plant-based is to start small, okay? I just gave an example. I've heard client pain points say that they tried to transition and go plant-based or vegan for 2 weeks, 2 months, and it didn't work. They used an all or nothing approach, right? They threw everything out in the refrigerator. They bought all of the healthy stuff and put it in the refrigerator. And what happened? That food just rotted, right? Never cooked that food, right? Didn't have the know-how, didn't plan and prepare to actually make this work. So I say start small, and the way that we can be practical with starting small is to literally start small. So let me break it down for you. We generally eat 3 meals a day, right? Breakfast, lunch, and dinner. And we eat 21 meals a week. So you can start small on your transition by replacing inflammatory foods with anti-inflammatory foods for 1 meal, for example. So start with breakfast, right? Eliminate the highly processed foods like the bacons, for example, right? Those breakfast sandwiches, and replace them with nutrient-dense foods like organic gluten-free oatmeal, for example, with some fruits. And that's going to help you start being consistent on your journey when you take those small attainable steps that turn in from moments and they give you that momentum. Okay, so start small. Okay, go hard, but start small. The third tip is eliminate inflammatory foods. That's it. So we must eliminate foods that are pro-inflammatory to our bodies and bring in, like I said, during our small steps, number 2 example, eat foods that are going to nourish us, that are anti-inflammatory, okay? So what do I mean by foods that are pro-inflammatory? Well, there's tons of science and research out there to show that there are particular foods out there that directly cause chaos and havoc in our body, right? And those foods, general categories, are processed carbohydrates, refined sugars, soda, alcohol, dairy, right? Dairy specifically with the casein component that's going to cause mucus in the body. Red meat, for example, it requires our liver and our kidneys, which we need to save with lupus, our organs in general. It requires our liver and our kidneys to work harder, right? So, and they're also known as group 1 carcinogens, red meat specifically, according to the World Health Organization. That's the same classification as smoking cigarettes. Again, eating foods that are anti-inflammatory and eliminating pro-inflammatory foods is going to be the next best step and the most important step for you to be successful on your plant-based transition. All of this is to reduce inflammation in your body in order for you to feel good in your body. The next tip to transition to a plant-based diet and lifestyle is number 4, educate yourself. All right, education, we know it's key, right? But how are you going to how are you going to inform yourself? How are you going to absorb the information? And how are you going to use this information to make changes in your life? Now, there's so much information out there. It's so overwhelming. So I say start with watching documentaries. There are 2 specifically that I think would be very helpful for you. The first one is Forks Over Knives. Forks Over Knives include doctors that have studied about diet versus chronic diseases. There's Dr. Greger, there's Dr. Colin Campbell, for example. And these doctors have studied this lifestyle for years and years and has helped a tremendous amount of people go plant-based and in some cases even reverse their chronic conditions. Second one I'd recommend would be The Invisible Vegan, which was produced, written by an incredible vegan influencer by the name of Jasmine. And this documentary really has hit home and touched my heart because it's portraying how our community, specifically communities of color, are impacted by our environment. What we're putting in and on our body affects us. And statistics show there are 1 in 5 women of color that have chronic diseases like heart disease, for example. And it's attributable to our epigenetics, how we live our lives, what we're eating. So this documentary is super relatable, and it really shows Jasmine's journey, her community's journey on how they've gone vegan, how they've gone plant-based, and have made a tremendous turnaround and transformed their lives. So Forks Over Knives, The Invisible Vegan, educate yourself, watch documentaries, so important on your transition. And last but not least, because I could give you tips on and on, is to get professional help. When I say get professional help, I mean find a certified nutritionist like me, find an expert that's going to help you along the journey. Surround yourselves around those who will empower you to sustain on your why, right? Starting from the very first tip. Surround yourselves around those that are going to help you on your journey. Connect with influencers, connect with people that are in this space that are going to share the information, whether it's recipes, whether it's providing information on how to remove certain foods in your lifestyle and your diet, but connecting with the nutritionist that specifically specializes in plant-based nutrition and will help you get a tailored approach for you to manage your chronic disease is so important. I've done it. I've tremendously improved my health, and I dedicate my life to helping others take control of their health, right? Take control of what they can control, and that's what you put in your mouth, on your body, and that's going to impact how you feel on a day-to-day basis. With the plant-based lifestyle, again, it's about living a life of abundance. And there's a life of abundance here. There is not a shortage of food. There's thousands of species of fruits and vegetables that we don't even tap into. So once you get into this lifestyle, woo, it is exciting. And then you will definitely start to feel a difference in your body, and there's no turning back. Thank you for listening to my conversation, and make sure you subscribe to my channel. I have so much more juicy information to share with you, including plant-based recipes that you can try that are nutrient dense and flavorful, and also just more tips on how to build healthier habits, how to live a sustainable lifestyle, and ways for you to thrive. Let's eat good, girl. You got this.